Hi, hello, Futboleando fans. I am here live from Southeast High School with head coach and legendary coach of Southeast High School, Felipe Bernal. Coach, thank you so much for making the time for us here today on a lovely afternoon, Monday.
Man, it started out cloudy, huh?
Yeah, no, I did.
It
It
started out
broke
cloudy,
out.
but right now it's sunny out here. It looks beautiful, man.
It looks beautiful. It's almost perfect day to get these kids out making some laps, no?
Yeah, oh, tell me about tell me about it. But normally I don't get to be on campus around this time. It's always like later on in the day, but it's a beautiful day for sure.
Now, talk to us about this idea concept of media day. I know that this is something that we've come out in years past that started off. How did this come up about that you wanted to go ahead and bring this? Not something familiar for the local high school programs here in LAUSD.
Man, it's interesting because I think you know just giving the recognition to the players
Yeah,
itself, giving the recognition to the communities. I don't know if we were one of the pioneers of the media day, but uh, I I kind of got it from the professional level,
yeah.
you know, to give the guys something to hyped up their season about, and it always looks nice, for the guys especially, and it promotes all the programs in our communities.
Right. No, and we're obviously sitting right in front of all these accolades and championships, and you've brought all of this to Southeast. And talk to us about the history of the program. You've obviously been here since what, 2006, 2007,
Around there,
around
yes.
those years. So we're almost nearing 20 years of you in the program. Talk to us about the history of the program, where it was from when you started, and where it's currently at now.
Well, eventually, I think there's no mystery about where we started and how we started. We have talked about it in the past. You know, um, but it was a beautiful journey to come here from the beginning, from the pioneers, from yourself. From that initially class of 2007 to you guys were the founders and the believers of this program, and I just came and added, just like everybody else. It comes and adds a little granito to the build up of the program. But through the years, it's been magical. It's been magical. I've been blessed to be around great players, a great community, and a very supportive administration.
Now we talked earlier too, and you mentioned about you changing different coaching styles, right, from where it was back. You mentioned 2007, 2008, how you learned from that to become a better coach. Talk to us about that. Talk to us about that change. Talk to us how you noticed that difference from how you were coaching back in 2007, what, let's say 20 years ago, to coaching now, right? Because there's obviously a lot of different aspects to it now, right? The cell phones were just coming out. Now there's a lot more to it now. So talk to us about the change that you've seen in coaching from 20 years ago to now that you've seen Felipe Bernal change.
Well, the 20 years almost here has been definitely, you have to modify and adapt. But everything didn't start for me in 2006, 2007 when I arrived here.
Mm.
I did previously 15 years in Morningside High School in the city of Inglewood, which I still work as a campus aide over there. But, it started from me being a student athlete at Morningside, a gentleman by Francisco Serrano Pancho and Hector Torres. They gave me opportunity to do something beyond the community, and they saw something in me special that, let's help this kid out. And I started in a program which it was Police Activity League, where you were involved with the police in the city of Inglewood, and you were a coach for an elementary, and you had an officer next to you, and both of you guys would team up and coach. And I started at 17 years old, and my journey is started there and adapting through all the years. Me personally, I could say I was, you know, no experience, just the motivation, and I was really really tough, really hard, old school, the way I was brought up. And through the years, to the evolution, many things have changed. Up to now, the fragile generations, the generations where you got to be careful what you say. You know,
Right.
paperwork and LAUSD. All the coaches that are out there, we know how difficult it is, man. Paperwork for every single thing,
Yeah.
and you know we have to transition. We have to transition and modify if we want to stick around the game. Understand the player, the mental aspect of it. You know, the four pillars that I was taught: physical, technical, tactical, and psychological. The mental part right now is like mental awareness after the pandemic. Jesus
Right.
Christ, like you're like you become more. Even though you don't have a degree in psychology, man, Jesus, you have to like be a counselor. You have to like break it down, and they turn around and tell you you're the adult, they're the kids, and you have to find a way to adapt. So reading, research, having a daughter is a master in psychology now.
Wow.
She gives me pointers here and there, through the evolution. She has come and talked to the team previously, and it's something that we just have to adapt if we want to be around the game.
Yeah, no, it's something that's constantly changing for sure.
Yes.
We'll go ahead and take a quick pause. We'll pause for a quick break, and we'll come back with more about the Southeast Winter Classic, about the upcoming season, and we'll touch more here with Coach Felipe Bernal.
Thank you.
All right, we're back with head coach of Southeast High School, Felipe Bernal. Coach, again, thank you so much for making the time with us here today. But let's just jump into the 2025-2026 season. Obviously, last year it came up short. Different format as we know it too, right? With
Yes.
obviously with the open division now, opposed to just Division 1 through 5. Talk to us about the ending of last season. Let's go there. How that impact the upcoming season. But let's talk about how the ending of last season led up to this season, training, all that stuff. How has the off season gone for you?
Man, it's been definitely a journey. Um, we've been doing things through the off season automatically right away because we have talked about this. Southeast is a year-round program, and everybody that comes into the program needs to find a way to adapt to this.
Mm.
I know kids are caught up with where they grew up, in the club environment, where the local leagues or AYSOs or ECNLs, MLS NEXT, stuff like that. But they have to learn how to adapt to a high school that is very demanding. Probably not all the high schools are as demanding as we are, but in order to be successful in anything in life, you got to be consistent. You got to work year round. There's no way you could just pause and say, I'm coming back.
Yeah.
So in the spring, we had an opportunity to play in the spring league. We were successful. We were successful over the summer. We kind of gave a break during August. We gave a dead period, and then we started bounce back our tryouts, and then we go from there. We started in the preparation of October, which has just ended, and now we're in November. So, believe it or not, our guys buy into what we do.
Mm.
And the most difficult part probably is the parents understanding the whole year-round program. They think, oh, there's only 3-4 months of high school. If you were just to do 3 or 4 months of high school, let's say we just started now, just think about it. Everybody coming, making a team, getting them in shape. Where you really gonna be?
Mm.
You're not. You just like everybody's out of shape.
Yeah.
No chemistry. Nothing is being built. So it has to be a year-round program, and hopefully the parents see this interview and they understand how important it is for their kids to adapt to the soccer, especially if they want to play at the next level. To be competitive, high school has become so competitive. Who doesn't want to play for a high school? When you're playing for your community, your school, your family, I say this. I saw it in a podcast over the summer. You know, a kid plays for a club, plays for, I don't know, MLS Next. Nobody really goes and watch those games. You know, 8 o'clock in the morning. Let's say you got a game in Vegas, in Arizona, or in Bakersfield, or whatever, San Diego. What happens? You know, who follows you?
Mm.
But when you're playing for your high school, you played,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
played, and
It's
you know,
community.
it's community. So we gotta be more supportive to that. And if we're more supportive to that for the kid, for the player, the parent understands, man, it's amazing. When the next day, you know, the teachers ask you, the other students ask you, you know, or they tell you, man, what a game you had yesterday.
Yeah,
It was amazing. You guys are really good. And the kid finds that doesn't find it nowhere else.
yeah.
Nowhere else. Where could you really find something like that? You know, and then you got 4 years, and some of them only have 1 year.
Mm.
Just think about it. If they're only 1 year in varsity, you know, so the spirit, the integrity, man, I still remember my high school days.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
still
No.
remember my teammates.
Yeah, that's something. And you're still in contact with them too, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah. So that transition is amazing. You know, so it keeps growing, it keeps maturing. And now the team, you know, in the off season, for the first time, for the first time, has never lost a game from spring, from summer, and from the preparation of October. They
wow.
haven't lost a game. They tied recently a game, but it was a scrimmage, you know. Uh, but they know who they're representing. They know what they're doing, and it's a lot of things behind their experience to represent, just to put the uniform. It's like, look what they inherit.
Yeah.
People that did this in the past, and now it's their turn.
I'm glad you went there. I'm glad you went there in terms of knowing what the student athlete, what it means to them. What's the identity of Southeast Jaguars of this 2025-2026 upcoming season? What is their identity?
Or their identity, it is the love that they have for this team.
Mm.
They really love this team. I really see everyone, even the newcomers, because there are some interesting players that did have decided not to play before for particular reasons, personal reasons, or whatever they were doing.
Yeah.
But they're gonna come in with fire. They're gonna come in with fire, and they saw what they missed last year
Mm.
or the year before. They saw what they missed, and they want to experience this. They played in this MLS, HNL, and uh, they know that their teammates that they grew up with, they're like, come on, you're gonna love this, and they're seeing it now over the summer.
Yeah.
And you just, for one of them putting the Southeast uniform for the first time, for the picture and everything, man, the guy, he's excited.
Yeah. They're ready to go.
Yeah, they're ready to go. So I think the love is the identity. They love that they have for this program.
Now you mentioned that they haven't lost a game all summer, all preseason, off season,
Spring,
all spring. It was just completely interesting to me. Has that ever happened to any other years that you've coached here at Southeast, or that you can remember? Obviously, it's so many off season and the playoffs. Has that ever happened to any of these teams?
No, no, and I don't think it has
Interesting.
ever happened, because it's the first time I really pay attention to it, you know. But what we do here with the coaching staff, Coach Sergio, Coach Irwin, and now we add another coach to our DNA, a CIF champ, a a professional coach, meaning he's certificate as a professional coach. Roberto Gonzalez from Fremont.
Okay.
He's adding last year, if I'm not mistaken, he did a stop at another school, But
So you're adding into
yeah,
your coaching staff.
yeah, I'm adding to my
That's good.
coaching staff, and he's gonna bring a lot of
You heard it here first, folks.
yeah. Yeah. He's gonna bring a lot of interesting things that beyond me. He probably has. I know that he has things that he's gonna bring that me personally don't have,
Mm.
and that's why I go out there and invite people to be part of this program. And there's a lot of people with a lot of knowledge out there, that have the opportunity to help these kids. and the more help that I could get, because it's like the American say, it takes a village.
Yeah.
It's not only me. People think it's only me doing all this, but man, it takes a lot of behind the scenes, the people that help out. So with that being said, the kids are excited. I don't know how much that was going to reflect, but we're also going into a one of the toughest preseason schedules that we ever have. Playing El Segundo right away. We're playing Redondo right away. Animal Leadership, Palisades, Birmingham, King Drew, to mention a few. And then in December, having 4 league games automatically.
Oof.
We're up to a challenge.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're up to a challenge, and I think our boys know that, realize that, and obviously finishing up in December with the Southeast Winter Classic is going to be interesting, but I don't want to jump into that until we do, because the main focus is with the team. And pretty much it. I don't know if you would like me to speak individually about, the players itself, who we got, or you want me to hold on that?
We'll jump into the Southeast Winter Classic, but before we cut, I do want to go ahead and talk more so about what areas of the game have you and your coaching staff focused on this off season. Is there a specific area of the game that you tend to focus on in the spring, in the summer, or overall in the off season?
Yes, we focus a lot in the tactical, the tactical and the mindset. That we're going to be challenged mentally, and we're going to have to find a way. And that's where Roberto, comes in, because he has a lot of experience of how to speak. Normally, a head coach in any part comes and let's go, let's get this thing done, but you have your resources with your assistant coaches to allow to separate. Hey, you know what, Duran, let's step to the side. Let's talk about what the coach really wants. Let me understand you so we can figure this out. And that merge, it helps out. That's one of the parts that we have gotten to improve. Mm-hmm. The next one is the tactical, knowing how to read the right moment, making the right moves. Like a center back, what does he really need to do with the ball, without the ball? A inside midfield that, they're so used to just, I'm a 6, or I'm a holding mid, or I'm an inside mid. No, I want those guys to be responsible, to say, I could play this, but I could play loose if it makes any sense. Yeah. I don't have to be tied up with a position where if I have an inside mid that steps on the 18 defensively and it steps on the 18 offensively, that guy's doing a hell of a job. But normally the kid, the transition, the formation, where he's been or wherever he's been, I don't know, it gets stuck to, I'm a defensive mid. This is my role. No, he needs to be loose. And then the attacking guys, they attack to the right. And if I say go to the left, flop, the inside striker that he knows how to be high on the pitch and when he needs to be low. So those are the things that we have merged and talked, and hopefully the guys will give us a better understanding through the season. And if they do that, because I believe that we have a lot of smart kids, and they adjust, that's where we've been pinpointing.
No, it's great. No, it seems like, based on what they're going through in the off season, they won all these games so far. It seems like they're buying into the project, which is good to see and hear.
For sure.
All right, well, we'll go ahead and take another pause here. We'll come back and break down the Southeast Winter Classic. We'll talk about that and a lot more to come here with head coach Felipe Bernal.
Yes.
All right, and we're back here with head coach, legendary head coach of Southeast High School soccer program, Felipe Bernal. Coach, thank you again for the time. Well, now we're jumping into talking about the Southeast Winter Classic. For those viewers at home who are new to the Southeast Winter Classic, talk to us about the Southeast Winter Classic, the history of it, and just briefly, how many years has the tournament been running?
Well, I inherited the Southeast Winter Classic, as I said before, from Mr. Stein from Locke.
That's right.
You know, he was initially, I met him when I was coaching at ELAC,
Mm.
and he was also an assistant coach, you know. And he had an opportunity to go to the East Coast. So he wanted to make sure that he left the, the tournament in good hands,
Mm.
you know. And hopefully I've been doing my part, Coach Stein, wherever you're at. You know, thank you for allowing me to be part of this Winter Classic. And through the years, you know, my vision was to build it into 32 teams, which where we're at in the past years or so. We started with 8 teams, jumping to 12, to 16, to 24, and then to 32.
Wow.
You know, if I'm not mistaken, this is my 13th year, you know, of organizing it with my coaching staff, because I don't do it by myself once again, you know.
Thanks a
So
village.
yeah, Sergio, Irwin, and other people, you know, they help me out. Um, you know, but also we have grown and established the girls
Yeah,
varsity,
the girls varsity now
you
tournament
know,
too, right?
the girls varsity, and the freshman sophomore. It's very important that people understand there's a freshman sophomore, not a JV.
Mm.
Freshman sophomores, because people really don't pay attention to those incoming kids
Yeah.
in school, you know. So when you pay attention to your incoming kids, you know, you give them um, um, the importance of who they are, because they're actually the future of your school,
Right, right.
you know. And we just pay attention to the ones leaving, and you know, because you know the hype and the vibe is there, but it's like right now the World Cup, the U17s, you know, you get excited, you know, watching those kids because they're the future. That's the same thing here, and that's what we wanted to establish. So uh, with the girls, we still need a few teams because we're growing into probably 12 or 16 this year,
Okay.
and we will have 2 sites: Los Angeles City College for the girls and East LA College. You know, they offer to help us out and support us.
Nice.
And with the freshmen, sophomores, we we need a little bit of help. We need a little bit of help there uh, with some programs. You know, if hopefully this interview gets out soon, so they can uh, see this and invite those freshmen, sophomores to come out.
Yeah.
You know, get teams in, and there's only 8 teams. You know, like I said, people really don't pay attention, but we should pay more attention to the younger.
No,
Community.
absolutely. And I mean, it's something that at least when I had it in my programs, it was just JV and varsity. Now it's freshmen and sophomores too, right? Division, but that's almost as if you're running a whole academy.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
And you're going from the top level team to like the freshman to the JV level to the freshmen and sophomores, right? And then even working with obviously the younger generation. So it's a whole academy process here that you've developed here in Southeast too.
Yeah, so we're full loaded with the varsity, like I said, boys. You know, the girls, we need quite a few,
Yeah.
just a little. But the freshman, sophomore, we need a little bit more response. Hopefully, we could get it through, because the coaches get impatient. You know, when the schedule coming out and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So, if we can work on that, we got to do a better job ourselves. But other than that, you know, December 26th,
Mm.
December 27th, group stage, you know.
And you said different host cities, so host stadiums, right?
Yeah,
too?
this year we hosting LACC, ELAC, Carson, Hawkins, Marquez, if I'm not mistaken. Those are the places that we're hosting, if we're not mistaken. And normally we do it in these places because they're turf,
Mm.
and we never know with the rainy season.
Yeah, it's December.
Yeah, so that's pretty much what we do. But December 26th, 27th, 29th, and 30th.
Okay. And talk to us too, Coach. Why is the Southeast Winter Classic important to your program?
Well, it's important because uh, the community, the city, uh, and the county has given them that importance.
Mm.
It's not me that gives it the importance; it's the community, and if people want to be part of it. And we're the largest, you know, tournament probably in your years. It was a Pirate Cup. I think they pushed it to 64 teams
Wow.
at once when we won that tournament. And I think in 2008, 2009, it was wow. It was so big, run by Mr. Butterfield, you
Mhm.
know, and it was amazing. But the importance is the community. The importance are the kids. You know, all these kids that get all this um, recognition.
Yeah.
You know, it's not us. We just do it for them. We're doing it for first for our school, then for our community, then for our county, and then beyond that. If we could in the future get teams not also from southern section, but probably out of state.
Mm.
Why not north?
Yeah.
You know, why not? You know, it's interesting to have people come and be part of this inner city tournament. Inner city because normally people go to big tournaments or nice tournaments away from the city.
Yeah. 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 You're
You know,
keeping it here within the inner city of Los Angeles.
yeah, and that's interesting.
And to be able to bring together 32 of the best high school programs in the country is it's amazing. So talk to us, and lastly, let us folks at home know what should they expect. You know, either if they're coming out to supporting at one of these venues, either they're going to be watching because we're going to be broadcasting the games live here on Futboleando. But what should the fans at home expect out of the Southeast Winter Classic?
Well, they're going to expect the best from us, from the coaching staff, from the organizers, that we're going to give the best like we do to make sure that they have a good environment on the fields to play. You know, the best officiating if we can. You know, the St. Gabriel with Mr. Tony Vasquez, you know, the assigner, and you know, uh, we just hoping that whatever we install, we sacrifice as an organization, that we give our best to the community, give the best to our kids, make sure that parents in the community understand that this is for them, you know, to enjoy and to make the best out of it.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think we ever had a big problem besides 1 year, you know, and we clean it up. We clean it up because emotions get cut up, you know. People get excited, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We get excited and people want to
It's
win,
soccer,
you know. And
passion.
but fortunately, we've been good, you know, representing our schools, because the kid needs to understand that they're not only representing, you know, a team, they're representing their parents, they're representing their community, and they're representing their school, which is more important.
Yeah.
And whatever they do, you know, the laws are strong. You know, I don't know if you were part of the annual meeting that we have for coaches, but the sanctions are coming hard to the coaches, and sanctions are coming hard to the players. Any red
What type of
cards?
sanctions are you talking
We're talking about, you know, just in case they get into pushing or fighting, they're getting suspended 6 games.
Wow.
And they appeal, they might get 3, but there's no going back.
That's half the season.
Yeah, so the players got to understand that.
Yeah.
And players don't understand that, and coaches and parents, when they come to see the games, they got to behave, because it's not like a professional environment,
Yeah.
or you know, a community environment. You know, they officials are allowed to stop a game,
Yeah.
and they stop the game, you're automatically giving your team a loss.
Now, does that go towards just the players? Because we were out there for a couple of the games too, specifically at Huntington Park, where some of the fans got in interactions with some of the referees, even the players. So is that something that's going to be possibly extended to just outside of the players too?
Oh yeah, it's extended to the players, the coaches, you know, and the stands.
Yeah.
You know, it's gonna be
huge.
they're gonna right here at Southeast. I have a parent meeting and I have a contract where the parent signs and the player signs,
Mm.
the bylaws and the rules, not only of the CIF, the city, the school, but my rules. So imagine how many rules are compiled and all of that. There's many rules, and we gotta hit the topics. We gotta hit the topics, and people gotta understand this is a a sport for the community, and don't let the emotions get caught up, even though they will be caught up, and you got to learn. And it is our responsibility. Like if I'm in the stands and I act, and that you have the responsibility to say, hey, please behave.
Mm.
We're an institution and a school institution. This is not just pros. We're here for the kids. Support. You know, go go Southeast. You guys got this. Let's go team.
And keep it at that.
Yeah. And behave. Don't talk bad even about your own teammate or a player itself. Because you might have the parent next to you, that you're talking about.
Right,
That
right,
number
right.
7 is no good.
Yeah,
Why he doesn't come out? That type of thing.
it doesn't benefit anybody
It
too.
doesn't benefit. So be respectful. You wouldn't want nobody to speak about your child. So, come and enjoy the game. Come and enjoy the process, the growth of your kid.
Yeah, and that's a huge PSA, not just from Coach Felipe Bernal, but for myself too here at Futboleando, is just that. Because we do see a lot of that when we go out to these high school games, when we go out to these programs, a lot of back and forth within the stands and whatnot. So we do plead for the referees, for the head coaches, and for most importantly, the student athletes, because that's the most important thing out there. But outside of that, the invitation is set out there, December 26th,
27.
Southeast Winter Classic. Make sure you all tune in. We'll be broadcasting these games. But Coach, that wraps up our interview here, our podcast, if you will. Anything else you want to go ahead and mention out to the folks that are tuning in before we tune out?
I just want to thank the community, the parents that I have here at Southeast. They're very supportive. The administration. Without them, this would not be possible.
Mm.
I'm just a piece of the pie or a piece of the, arena. The sand. I bring something in. I put my piece. Thank you to them. Thank you to you that you're supporting the local talent, the local schools. That's really good. To get all these kids known, and the most important things is that we create the next great generations, not only on the field but off the field, and that they have a career that they can depend on themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's no better way to go ahead and send us off here, Coach. Thank you so much for your time. That is Felipe Bernal, head coach of the Southeast High School soccer program, extending the invitation to watch the Southeast Winter Classic starting up on December 26th, and also to go ahead and tune in for the remaining of the start of CIF soccer as well. So on behalf of Futboleando, thank you so much, Coach, for
Yes.
your time, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.